behalf of Geeta Ratan International Business School, welcome you all for IIC workshop on the topic Learn Startup and Minimum Viable Product. Geeta Ratan International Business School was established in 2004. The institute is affiliated to Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University, Delhi. The institute is conducting MBA, BBA LLB, BA LLB and BBA programs. GIPS is approved by All India Council for Technical Education, Ministry of HRD and Government of India for management courses and by Bar Council of India for its law courses. The institute is accredited A grade by NAAC in its second cycle and is assessed as category A+ by Government of NCT of Delhi. And GGS IP University, the college has strength of more than 2,000 students having undergraduate, postgraduate, young, dashing, motivated male and female students. At GIPS thrust is on development of entrepreneurship skills in the students so that they can face the challenges in their competitive professional life with valuable-based approach. Apart from providing quality education, emphasis is on to develop leadership qualities, risk-taking abilities and decision-making skills. The institute conducts IIC workshop on regular basis. The objective of workshop is to encourage our students about entrepreneurship and startup to entrepreneurship skills. The workshop provides knowledge regarding opportunity, startup terminology, minimum viable product. For today's workshop, we have our esteemed speaker, Mr. Nikhil Chachra. He close to 20 years of work experience. Sir worked across different organizations, including software product companies, chambers of commerce, not-for-profit organization, consulting service company, an early-stage startup, and a large private sector bank. He had the opportunity to work independently in complex environments, handling diverse roles. He has hands-on experience in managing large-scale programs from their conceptualizations to budgeting to market development, to implementation, monitoring and reporting. He also specializes in events and outreach management, corporate communications, managing PR and media, managing relationships with government and industry bodies for brand promotion, policy advocacy and engagement activities. Sir, it's pleasure to have you. Now I would like to welcome to present green welcome. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now I would like to welcome, thank you so much. Now without wasting any time, now I request Mr. Nikhil Chachra to enlighten our students with your great experience and knowledge.
Hi, good morning everyone. So I assume that all of you have heard the word startup. Yes or no? Young people have some energy. Say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks. So I have worked around 4 years in the field of startups as a joint director in the Center of Innovation, Science and Technology Commercialization, where I was working on various different government programs to promote the startup and entrepreneurship culture. So India is a booming economy and has more than 25,000 startups. The unfortunate part about startups is that the failure rate is extremely high. So as per one of the independent research by a leading Big Four consulting firms, almost 90% startups, which is say 9 out of 10 startups fail in becoming a successful business. There are a lot of companies 10 years back they started their journey, and now they are valuated more than 10 million dollars, 15-20 million dollars, and that kind of a scale. Some of the common names like that come to your mind, maybe Paytm is one of them. Then there are other similar examples. PhonePe is there, for example. So the Zomato on food delivery front is there. So there are hundreds of examples you would find. However, they are not. There are so many startups that existed at 10-12 years back, when Paytm also started as a simple payments and wallet company. However, not everybody survived in their journey in the last 10 to 15 years. And why all this happens? So the kind of topic today we are discussing is lean startup and minimum viable product. So minimum viable product, ये क्या होता है, what it actually means, why a majority of startups fail in becoming successful in their journey. This is one of the important reasons why the startup companies that start their business journey at any point in time fail. This is not only applicable to the new companies, new age technology companies that are coming in. This is not only applicable to them, but even larger companies, if you see, even they adopt this kind of a model. And there are classic case studies, if you look back 10 to 15 years, that the products have spectacularly either failed or spectacularly captured the market in a way that they have become monopolies. So I'll share a few examples when I'll show you some slides. So without wasting time, I'll just share 4 discussion areas that would help you in at least theoretically learning about the subject, as well as I'll share a few real life examples while sharing these pointers with you. So 4 discussion areas that I want to touch upon today in this discussion. It is what is the meaning of lean startups, what process they would follow in creating different products and solutions, what is minimum viable product, which is very well known as MVP. There could be various full forms of MVP, but we are discussing today minimum viable product in terms of the startups industry that we are trying to address. And finally, we will close the session today on discussing some critical advantages of the lean startup model, or the most viable product, minimum viable product that we want to discuss. So lean, if you see in the literal sense, in English, lean means thin. And when I say thin or slim, it doesn't mean it doesn't mean in fact, in terms of a new company or in terms of a new product, it means that only very minimalistic resources are allocated for creating a particular company or a new product offering. When I say resources, there could be different resources and an organization could use, whether they are human resources like people, you and me, who are working in a particular organization handling a particular role, whether they are financial resources, which means the money or the capital that is deployed for creating various products, or the technology solutions that are there. For example, if I am a manufacturing company, I need to buy large manufacturing machines to set up a shop floor and where I will create my product. Or if I am a services company, I need to buy softwares, I need to buy hardware, so as to set up a engineering and development team, so that a particular software is created. there could be other administrative resources like fixed assets like building where a particular office or a factory is set up and a product or a solution is developed. So lean in the sense from day one when a startup begins its journey. It's not, you would not find that there are 10,000 people straight away hired from the outside world and they are deployed on a particular product solution and they are just asked that okay, go and create this particular product offering. So ऐसा नहीं होता है real life में. Whenever a startup, you would have heard stories of large IT companies, for example, Amazon, or let's talk about in the Indian context, Infosys. They started from small backyard garages kind of setups where 3 or 4 friends collaborated together. They started developing a particular software. They created a good software. They went to the market, commercialized it. A few customers adopted those softwares, and slowly and steadily the startup scaled up in size. And today, after 30 years of existence, the Infosys is one of the biggest information technology companies in India. So it's a gradual journey, but at the start, when a company is starting, so it is like in terms of let's take example of Infosys only. There were only four friends, Narayan Murthy and his 3 other friends, who came up with a IT services company idea, and they started developing a software. So they started the company with a mere 10,000 rupees capital. So that was also a very thin capital to deploy. TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, is a much older organization, but at that time TCS had a very large capital already, and it was already a 10,000 employee company, because that was a legacy company in a way, already existing company. However, technology-wise, they would have bought certain software platforms where they would do the coding. They bought certain servers and hardware where they would actually post their. Used in 2010 by an American entrepreneur called Eric Ries. You can go online and read more about it. We are not here to talk about Eric Ries. We are here to talk about what lean startup concept is all about. So lean startup, the basic idea revolves around demand of the product already exists, or a business already exists. When I say demand, I say addressable market. Marketing में आप लोगों ने segmentation एक word पढ़ा होगा. Yes or no? Yes, sir. Yeah. So segmentation में what do? We divide an entire market in clear-cut segments. So certain set of customer segments are there who would prefer buying certain kind of products and who would not buy certain different kind of competitive products. So ये आपको clear है? Youngsters, for example, millennials like you, they would prefer going online and shopping, whereas an elderly person who's not very computer savvy or mobile app savvy, they may not be that comfortable buying products online, and they would generally like to go in the market and they would try and buy the products from the market. ऐसा होता है? ऐसा have you experienced in your personal lives? So that's what I am trying to say. Already a set of customers exist for a particular product or a solution, and the entrepreneur who's trying to create a new company knows that the demand for a product already exists. How it is different from a traditional company? It is like traditional companies, because they have large budgets, large capital, large spending capacity. So what they will do, they will create the product first. A product which is already existing in the market, they will create a competitive offering around that idea. They will create the product first and then take it to the market. So this is in a way, in a traditional business sense, it happens all the way around, and that is why there are risks associated. What are those risks? And I'll come into the I'll discuss those risks in the next slide. But there are risks associated of creating a product first and then trying to create a demand for that particular product. This is a traditional way of looking at things. So lean startup concept is altogether opposite of this, that we'll try to find out whether real market, a real customer segment exists for the product that I would want to create in future. And when I am about 80 to 90% sure that the answer is yes, only then I will go ahead and try and create a unique offering. So in traditional, I'll just very briefly touch upon the life cycle. Generally, product ka life cycle kaise chalega? Traditional sense mein. You will find it very similar to the lean startup approach also, but there is a small difference which I'll mention in my next slide. Traditional businesses mein what you will see is there will be the businessman, there is an idea. So okay, so I want to create a new car, for example, which is economical for Indian families. Indian families are mostly large chunk of it is in the middle class income range. So I want to create an economical budget car. So then I will move to the stage of creating a prototype of car. After that, I will test that prototype in a testing environment, which is called as test marketing as well. I will take it to a select set of customers. I will test how the customers react to the new prototype that I have come up with. So if anybody of you ever have visited the auto show that that's organized every 4 years. So auto show mein, auto expo mein there are a lot of futuristic car models are displayed, but they are not actually available in the market for purchase. So what are those? Those futuristic car models are just a test marketing of the new concepts that they are trying to come up with, and they are just trying to gather feedback from customers. So then if they get a positive reaction on a particular prototype that they have developed, then they would straight away go ahead and launch that product. Then they would do a lot of marketing and sales activities around that product to enter the growth phase. If the product is successful and adopted by the customer, then the product will go to the maturity stage where sales will peak out. Maximum number of units already जब market में आ जाएंगे तो वो एक peak level पे आ जाएगा. फिर then the next stage comes that demand of a particular product starts to decline, which is a decline stage in the conventional style, and then ultimately the product goes out of market and a new idea, the entrepreneur or the traditional business here starts to think about or work on a new business idea. So this is a conventional approach. The lean startup approach is very much similar to these steps. However, they put a lot of emphasis on doing research and learning, which is the idea stage. So classic example is Tata Nano, where they had just Tata Motors came up with the idea that they will come up with a cheap car. So cheap car, 1 lakh rupees budget, they will provide car to each household in India. However, you must be aware that it was a spectacular failure as a product. It did not do well. There were reasons we'll discuss later on. जब lean startup की हम बात करेंगे, so the entrepreneur will spend most of its time in time and effort in doing the research and learning about customer requirements. Actual में customer चाहता क्या है? Whenever even if as a middle class customer, you would want an economical car which is fuel efficient, which is design is also good, which has ample space for 4 people, which is a normal size of a family. Then it also has safety features, it is non-polluting and so on. However, traditional business के case में Tata Motors ने क्या किया? They created the cheap car model पहले without thinking on all these things. So that's the basic difference between a lean startup and a traditional business or a traditional startup, where lean startup would focus entire energy on understanding what the customer wants actually, and once the idea is validated by the customer that yes, these are my clear-cut requirements while buying a car. So the entrepreneur will at that point in time go ahead and go on the shop floor and create that particular prototype model. So lean startups are far more agile. Large corporate houses are a little bureaucratic because too many approvals, too many business hurdles are there for to manage. However, if a small startup is there which is run by 15, 20, 30 or 50 people, there are not too many bureaucratic layers in between, and they are much faster, much agile in the sense that things will move faster, even if they realize at any point in time that their product is failing. So they would discontinue that product quickly, and they will try and improve that product and come up with a better offering. This was not the case when in Tata Nano's situation. It took them to understand this 10 years, and by that time it was too late, and ultimately that cheap car model proved to be very redundant and unnecessary risk that the company took, and till today Tata Motors is bearing a loss of about 4,500 crores on their balance sheet. So that's the kind of long-term impact. So it was the house of Tatas, which is a multi-billion-dollar company, which could absorb this kind of loss. Had it been a smaller company which started new, they would have simply shut the shop, and that's a big reason that 9 out of 10 startups fail in their overall journey. The basic idea behind a lean startup is that they're constantly taking feedback from the market and from the customer segments, which is like a validation of their products or services or solutions that they are planning. And there are two good things that happen. It leads to cutting down of a lot of wastage of resources. Again, coming back to the example of Tata Nano, it was a sheer wastage of resources, in the sense I created 10,000 units of car and nobody was willing to buy those cars. So it was just a unit standing or parked in my factory with no customer to buy. So it was huge waste of money, ultimately leading to a loss. Similarly, because the product was carelessly developed without understanding the requirement of the customer, there was high probability of failure, and a redundant product came out as a result. And we all know how badly Tata Nano failed. So let's understand now what is the process of process any lean startup follows. So they would first try to identify a problem. Again, this is equivalent to the idea stage. Identifying a problem. Have you studied in your course research methodology? Yes. So the basic principle that is taught in research methodology in the first unit itself says problem properly defined and properly identified is half solved. So that's how a lean startup is different from a traditional business, because they spend a lot of serious time and resources on identifying what what product they are coming, what problem they are trying to handle at hand. So it was not problem was not that India needed a cheap car. India needed an economical car, which was properly solved by the competitor called Maruti Suzuki. In that case, they came up with Maruti Alto as an alternative, which was slightly priced higher than the Tata Nano, but was a grand success in its overall journey as compared to Tata Nano. Yeah. So then, once they are 80 to 90% sure that yes, they have properly captured all the requirements and properly defined the solution. For example, India needs an economical car that is safe, that is fuel efficient, that is spacious, that is design-wise good looking, and this would have been a proper definition of a good product. However, what branding they came out with, what problem they looked at, that India needs a cheap car, and ultimately it actually became a very cheap car which nobody wanted to buy. So once they start developing a solution, it's called, that particular solution is called the minimum viable product, or the MVP. This product is the simplest form of a particular product. ये और क्या होता है next slide में I'll explain in detail, but just understand MVP is the simplest form of a product. I'll show you 2-3 simple examples which are classic example, one classic example of a huge success and one classic example of not so successful product that they have come out with. I'll show you live here. Both examples are mentioned in the slide. Google versus Bing. Bing is a search engine that has been created by Microsoft, and so those who trade in the financial markets must be knowing stockbroking. Stockbroking में there are a lot of brokers. So I'll show you example of how a product solution of ICICI Direct, which is a large broker, traditional business looks like, and a new age business like Zerodha or Upstock looks like. Once they are ready with the MVP, minimum viable product, they introduce it to the test market for taking a feedback. So this is same as test marketing step. However, they are not launching the product at a full scale. They just want to test whatever they have created in a limited customer segment. After that, whatever feedback they receive, they would adjust and customize the product as per the feedback. These adjustments and customizations are very limited, because they at the first idea stage itself, they have captured a large number of requirements at that stage itself. So very minimalistic changes are required, or sometimes even no changes are required in the finished so-called product that they have, in a way near to a finished product that they have created. Then they finally mass introduce or mass launch the final minimal viable product to the market for use, and they are continuously taking feedback from the customer and improving on making it better and better over the life cycle of a journey. Hence, the life cycle of the entire product life cycle marketing में आपने पढ़ा होगा, जो मैंने कुछ points अभी इससे पहले slide में explain भी किए. The product life cycle hence tends to be little longer compared to the traditional business houses, the way they look at it. So let's understand what is a minimum viable product. So as I said, it is the simplest form of a product. Finished product, it's like the basic model, and when I say basic model, it only कार के केस में ऐसा नहीं है कि एक कार की एक एल्यूमिनियम की बॉडी बना दी, उसमें 4 टायर लगा दिए, स्टीयरिंग लगा दिया, ब्रेक लगा दी, एक्सीलरेटर लगा दिया, गियर लगा दिया, इंजन लगा दिया और वो कार बन गई. That's not the case at all. So the problem definition, just recall the problem definition that I explained in Tata Nano's case. India did not require a cheap car. India required an economical car which was safe, which was good looking in terms of design, which was fuel efficient, which was spacious from inside, and so on. However, what problem they had stated for themselves was India needs a cheap car. So cheap car के केस में उन्होंने एक डब्बा बना दिया, इंजन पीछे की तरफ लगा दिया, बूट स्पेस आगे की तरफ लगा दिया, एक स्टीयरिंग लगा दिया, and so on. So this is actually an extreme poor quality interiors. And in terms of safety standards, this was highly risky because safety rating was 0. So that was not the basic model. Basic model was it should have all the core features that are required by the customer to use it properly and safely. So when I talk about minimum viable product, always remember it is not a proof of concept. Prototype वर्ड मैंने पहले यूज किया था अपने ये इस फर्स्ट स्लाइड में. If you can see here in the last bullet point, I have used the word prototype. Prototype is always confused as a proof of concept. However, the minimum viable product that we are talking here it's not a proof of concept. Proof of concept is a validation of the product or a solution idea, and at the ideation stage, this proof of concept, a lean startup would do a proof of concept of the product at the idea stage itself, which is at the very first stage. From the beginning of my presentation, what I am trying to tell you, any lean startup will spend a large amount of time and a high amount of resources at the idea stage itself. So they would do the prototype testing or proof of concept or checking of that idea at the first stage itself. So do not confuse yourself with the prototype which comes 2 stages later in terms of lean startups. Lean startup will, the final product that they come up with, which is called as MVP, is not a proof of concept. Always remember, it's also not a beta version. Beta version में क्या होता है कि कई बार आपको एक प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च करके दिया जाता है, उस पे आपसे फीडबैक मांगा जाता है, उसमें जो कमियां होती है उसको वो रिमूव करने की कोशिश करते हैं. Beta version is like the final testing of a product in a live environment. So this is also not a beta version of a product, because final एक फिनिश्ड प्रोडक्ट से के रिलीज से पहले ये बीटा टेस्टिंग करनी बहुत जरूरी होती है. However, there is a big limitation of minimum viable product. So a detailed research has been conducted by a big 4 consulting firm, which says that this particular concept has been found more successful in the information technology industry and not the manufacturing industry, so and so. Manufacturing industry is a capital intensive business, so उसमें capital का requirement बहुत ज़्यादा रहता है. As a result, this concept may not be very successful in terms of manufacturing. So say take example of Boeing, which manufactures planes. So उसमें ऐसा तो है नहीं कि एक प्लेन की बॉडी बना दी, उसमें 2 इंजन लगा दिए, एक लैंडिंग गियर लगा दिया, एक टेकिंग ऑफ गियर लगा दिया और प्लेन बन गया. ऐसा नहीं है. there are lot of regulatory side requirements, there are lot of safety requirements, attached to a particular product. As a result, same goes for a car. उस केस में भी lot of safety requirements are there, lot of regulatory requirements are there. So उस केस में ये MVP model जो है उतना successful नहीं है as compared to the information technology industry. And now at this point I'll show you a couple of live examples on great successes, and these are very common names. मैंने पहले भी share किया, and you would be using these services or solutions every day in your life. Look at this home page. ये नाम सबको पता है? यूज करते हैं सब लोग? हाउ सिंपल, जिसे नहीं पता है उसे आज पता लग गया, और जिसे नहीं पता है वो बेवकूफ है बिल्कुल अगर उसे नहीं पता है तो, कि गूगल भी नाम की कोई चीज है. सो थैंक यू फॉर टेलिंग मी. एंड दिस इज द सिंपलेस्ट फॉर्म ऑफ प्रोडक्ट. गूगल इज द वर्ल्ड्स बिगेस्ट सर्च इंजन, एंड the world's biggest search engine which has 90% से भी ज़्यादा market share worldwide. 90% world's population is using this particular search engine to daily try and search whatever information they want to search. So is it complex to look at? It's a very simple solution that they have created. Now look at the competitor, Bing. So this is they have created, which has a search bar here, but look at the kind of complexity they have created here. News articles. They would they are showing some videos, rewards, all on the same page. So this is a very very uncomfortable product design, so to say. And as a result, Microsoft is investing so much in this product, but not getting the return on investment that they are expecting out of this product. Now I had listed the example of the financial markets. So I'll show you the example of a traditional broker. Look at the site that they have developed. Just look at this complex website that they have developed. So when I want to use this website, I will have to find out where to go, where to click. As an individual, if I want to trade on a financial platform, I want to keep it as simple as I want to be. There would be I would want a list of stocks to see, I would want their charts to see, and I would want a panel where I can place buy and sell. Just look at the simplicity of the panel. On the left side, you can see the list of stocks that I want to trade. Here is the list of stocks. It's a simple list of stocks. In the middle portion, I can see if I click here, I can see the charts of the stock, and if I want to place a buy and sell order, I can use this buy and sell option from here, and that's it. My entire order and position will be visible here itself. And now I'll show you the Now this is the trading panel of ICICI Direct, which is one of the large brokers. So here, if I want to deal in stocks, there is a different panel. If I want to deal in mutual funds, there is a different panel. If I want to deal in future and options, there is a different panel. So if everything is they are trying to make me click all the time on different points and making a life very complex. So now you understand what is a minimum viable product, which is simplest form, and what is a complex product. Both are finished products, but both are, one is simple, one is very complex and difficult to use. So that's the kind of difference. And let's just go back to so be happy. This is the last slide of the discussion. Let's discuss about the advantages that lean startups will have over or lean startups or minimum viable products will have over traditional businesses always. As I have showed some examples here, live examples, the products will be the simplest solutions to the problems. So what could have been, in Tata Nano's case, what could have been the simplest solution? They could have taken care of a good design, they could have taken care of the safety, they could have taken care of the fuel efficiency, they could have taken care of a proper sizing of the car and spacing of the car. And किसी ने ज़्यादा दिमाग चलाया और इंजन पीछे कर दिया बूट स्पेस में और बूट स्पेस को आगे कर दिया, which is absolutely nonsense. It was simply copied from a Volkswagen car called Beetle, which did not work in India. And they just, because they had deep pockets, they just burnt their money left, right, and center. Even if they created a bad product, they further complicated the situation by creating a bad marketing around it, because they projected it as a cheap car, and cheap in the sense has a negative tonality to a particular product. I may be a middle income group individual in India, but I don't want cheap products. I would want economical products. So that could have been better marketed to the Indian markets and Indian customers. That was one big challenge. So MVPs and lean startups will always, as I said, need low resources, which is always an advantage. Zerodha is a classic example. A very small team of 500 people and a very profitable, stockbroking company. It's not only profitable; it is the #1 broker in India. Whereas large brokers are still, trying to struggle to keep their existing customer base with them. Obviously, when you create a minimum viable product and you invest less in developing a good product, and product is of good quality, it also costs less to the end customer. That's what I meant by economical product. So it is very it tends to be less expensive to customers. And why it is less expensive? Because उसमें कुछ frills, कुछ extra unnecessary features उसमें किसी भी minimum viable product में they're not there. Then product development is much faster. This product development stage, why it is faster? Because at the very first stage of idea, I have tried and captured 80 to 90% of requirements of what customers actually need and what customers actually want. Rather than if I develop a version 1 of the product, then take it to the market, then customer says इसमें तो ये feature missing है, then I come back and again add that feature, then again take it. So that delays everything. Ultimately, lean startups are very agile, nimble, and very active. There are no bureaucratic hurdles, that are there in their systems compared to traditional businesses. Product idea that they try to work on is less risky and has a very low failure rate, and very minimal changes or customizations are required to come up with a final finished product. Always remember, it is the simplest form of product. It is not necessary that once you make a complex product that only will be a success. Lot of complex products, couple of complex products I've shown to you, all of them are not success. Age group people like you prefer trading on Zerodha, and they would not prefer on ICICI, HDFC and larger brokers like Kotak and so on and so forth. So that's the overall idea of lean startups and minimum viable product. While the idea is successful, large manufacturing companies also are trying to adopt this framework, but as of now there are very negligible successful case studies that are there. So you can read more about it online. I will leave these set of slides for your future reference with ma'am, and you can take it from her later on. That's all I wanted to say in this particular workshop. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, most importantly.
Anyone wants to ask any question?
Hello. So, how do I determine if I am capable for starting a business?
How do I
determine if I am capable of starting a business on my own?
How do you determine if you are, if you like risk taking, if you have that risk taking ability, if you don't fear failure, if you are creative, if you are innovative, if you want to do new things in your life, and if you want to come up with something which does not exist and there is a requirement in place, maybe you can try your new idea. So I also used to think like you around 5 years back. I tried my hand at doing certain entrepreneurial activities. So for about a year or so, I and one of my batchmates created a fractional CMO framework. It's a very popular framework in in advanced countries, in developed countries. Specifically, it is very popular in Southeast Asia. So fractional CMO जो model है वो क्या है? CMO is Chief Marketing Officer. So if you read generally newspapers or generally good articles, you would find HR का function जो होता है, कोई भी company होती है वो outsource करके रखती है. So there are specialized HR companies who are managing HR processes of large businesses. Similarly, there are so they are called as virtual HR offices. Similarly, finance function जो होता है वो भी ऐसे ही outsource, बड़े companies outsource करते हैं, and some X company would manage your finance process. You run your core business. Say you are in technology, so you build that technology and run that technology thing yourself. But your finance side will be managed by some finance expert. So these are virtual concepts. So I am, say, a virtual finance officer for some XYZ company. So we tried creating a process for marketing function also, which is missing currently in India. However, it is very popular in the American continent, in the European continent, or in the Southeast Asian continent, which is Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan, which are fairly developed countries. So we tried replicating that model, and this model, what we realized in 1 year's time, this model was fairly advanced. So we could do certain creative things around marketing, but the problem was there were no takers of that service in India. So everybody wanted, this was from say January 2019 to about December of 2019, 1 year, almost 1 year. And December of 2019 and March 2020 Corona, and the entire world was shut down. So one of our also entrepreneurial initiative was shut down, because marketing is always looked at as an expense for any business. So कोई भी जो बड़ी कंपनी होगी, वो बड़ी क्या छोटी भी कंपनी होगी, वो क्या करेगी अपनी कॉस्ट कम करने के लिए? सबसे पहले मार्केटिंग के कॉस्ट को कम करेगी, उसके बाद एचआर के कॉस्ट को कम करेगी। फाइनेंस का फंक्शन एक ऐसा है जिसके कॉस्ट को सबसे एंड में कम करेगी। Sometimes they would not even cutting down cost. So your question, you say how would I know whether I can start my business or not? So if you can take a risk, if you are creative, innovative, if you have that creative bent of mind, if you can create a unique solution, and if there is some requirement in the industry when I say larger market, so then try your hand. Maybe you are the next Narayana Murthy of India.
Anyone else?
Morning, sir. That how do I manage cost and expense?
How do
I determine my startup cost and expenses?
ओके, सो ये बजटिंग एक्सरसाइज पे आप मुझसे पूछ रहे हो। सो बजटिंग एक्सरसाइज पे आपको क्लियर कट अपना एक इनकम साइड बनाना पड़ेगा, एक एक्सपेंस साइड बनाना पड़ेगा। सो वंस यू आर एन एंटरप्रेन्योर एंड यू हैव स्टार्टेड अ फंक्शन, सो व्हाट विल बी योर इनकम? इनकम विल बी द कैपिटल दैट यू पुट इन। से 50,000 रुपीज कैपिटल आपके पास है, वो 50,000 आपने एलोकेट कर लिया अपने बिजनेस को। ओके, एक्सपेंस साइड में क्या एक्सपेंसेस होंगे आपके? जो लोगों को आप सैलरी दे रहे हो वो एक एक्सपेंस होगा, ये एक्सपेंस होगा, सैलरी एक्सपेंस है। फिर किसी एक ऑफिस में, किसी एक बिल्डिंग में आप अपना कोई छोटा सा एक ऑफिस खोलोगे, उसका रेंट आपका एक्सपेंस होगा। फिर जो आप वहाँ पे डे टू डे डेली एक्सपेंसेस करोगे, वो भी एक एक्सपेंसेस में आएंगे। उसके बाद से आप सॉफ्टवेयर बनाना चाहते हो, तो सॉफ्टवेयर बनाने के लिए आपको कोई एक सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट प्लेटफॉर्म चाहिए, हार्डवेयर चाहिए, तो वो मार्केट से खरीदोगे, वो एक्सपेंस में आएगा। सो ऐसे जितने लिस्ट करके आप अपने एक्सपेंसेस बना सकते हो, वो एक आप अपने एक्सपेंस साइड में लिखोगे, एंड वही आपका एक्सपेंस मैनेजमेंट शीट रहेगा। आजकल जैसा मैंने उनको पहले बताया, देयर आर वर्चुअल फाइनेंस ऑफिसेस। सो बहुत ही लो कॉस्ट में योर इनकम एंड एक्सपेंस मैनेजमेंट सर्विसेज अवेलेबल इन द मार्केट। सो यू कैन हायर प्रोफेशनल सर्विसेज एंड यू कैन आउटसोर्स दैट फंक्शन टू देम to manage that income and expense. And once you do business, so there are government taxes that are also to be paid, so that's also an expense. So income आपका आना तब start होगा जब आपका product बन गया, product को जब आप market में ले जा रहे हो, तो लोगों ने उसको खरीदना शुरू कर दिया, and once they buy and then they make you a payment, so that will come into your income side. So that's how you will manage. And this management happens monthly basis, quarterly basis, then yearly basis. So ये एक professional तरीका है करने का. So if you are really interested to know, go for the finance function. उसमें बजटिंग मैनेजमेंट का एक डेडिकेटेड सब्जेक्ट है, and that will give you more insights to how you would manage your income and expense side.
Anyone else? So thank you, Nikhil sir. And students, this is your last semester, and probably this is the last workshop. So they are in the last semester, they will be graduating. So this is the last workshop of your last semester. We wish you all the best, and this topic was the most suitable topic for you all to end your semester, startups. And I know Nikhil sir, his knowledge is immense. He has a vast knowledge in stock market, stock trading. You haven't attended his
business, but if you overcome that risk, and if the offering that you want to come out with is really unique, there is a high probability that you will really grow in the years to come. So my best wishes to you. In my case, the service could not grow because there was no market, and we learned after burning our hands that we did not research properly whether the market exists for that kind of a service or not. And obviously, thanks to the corona pandemic, everything got shut down. So the problems got complicated after that. So best wishes to you, all of you. Do well in life.
to our speaker.